All right, here we go. So, should be live in theory here. I don't know where my chat is, though. That is going to be a problem. That's definitely going to be a problem. Okay. Where the hell is... Where the hell is my chat? It's never easy, is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. View chat. There we go. Okay. Now we're back in business. Okay. There we go. I'm like, I know Rorschach's going to be in here eventually, so wanted to, be able to see the chat here. But anyways, I didn't really do an introduction here. Welcome. I am Spectre with the Game Reactionist here, and as promised, we are going to be doing a stream of the latest World of Warcraft expansion, The War Within. As promised in my other videos, I've been talking about this for a couple weeks now at least. And yeah, I can't say I've been really looking forward to this. Although I was sort of actually looking forward to just diving back into it for a little bit again. But then a couple days ago, we had Black Myth Wukong came out, and that's actually been a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting that. I was totally not going to buy that, but I saw a gameplay of it, and it was, a different game than what I expected it to be. So yeah, so I've been playing that and really enjoying that, actually. So, gotta take a little bit of a break from that to do Warcraft here. So, alright, so we're gonna be trying to get, the goal here really is over the course of the next streams, and I'll be interchanging with Rorschach on, he'll be doing more Black Myth, so we'll have some more of that content coming out here too. But the goal here is to hurry my ass up and get it to level 80, which is the new level cap. Level 80 again, that is, because over the course of all these expansions, they've done like stat crunches, and it's convoluted nonsense. But level 80 is the new cap for this expansion, and I'm hoping to get into at least a little bit of world PvP. Even though PvP is kind of like a dead thing on this game, I don't think anyone really cares about it anymore. It's what I care about. It's what I enjoyed about WoW back in the day. But we'll be playing here with my Dark Iron Dwarf Rogue. I did, before the stream, kind of get back in a little bit and do a little bit of like housekeeping type of stuff, just to make sure my character had like gold and everything was kind of all set to go. Had like a proper proper setup. I had all my key bindings all set up, so you don't have to watch me do any of that stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into the game here. Set up my talents and everything right away too, and I'll show that on here right away too. So may as well. May as well. Alright, here we go. Really hope the volume and everything is decent. I'm sure Rorschach will tell me when he gets on. But yeah, so here we are in Stormwind here. Here's my character, Rhys Davies. Because if you're going to name a dwarf anything, why not, right? I always think of John Rhys Davies. So, that's my guy. Made him bald, too. I thought he would be, like, kind of roguish looking and had those fiery eyes. Dark Iron Dwarves are cool. I've always liked dwarves, too. I'd always, like, roll dwarves and things like that. I had Dwarf Paladin back in the day. I had a Dwarf Hunter I played around with. Dwarf Rogue, of course. So, dwarves are cool. And they have really good racials now, too. So, racials actually do matter in this game still to some degree. So, yeah, so we're going to want to get over to the expansion proper here, which I think is going to be over in... Yeah, we got to go back over to Dalaran, which I set my Hearthstone up to that already, so we're just going to go right over there right away. But otherwise, I got some change, some pocket change here. I got my key bindings and everything set up. I thought I was going to show my talent tree here. This is a pretty cookie-cutter build. I think I just copied this from Icy Veins just because I'm so out of the loop with this game. I've not really played actively since, like, Legion, essentially, so it's, I didn't really know what I was doing. And they completely revamped the talent system, so everything is completely different from what it was before. So this is what I got set up here. I was playing around. I might actually switch one of these out to be, like, another passive here, because One of the problems I'll talk about, one of the reasons why, over the course of these streams, I'll talk a little bit about why I don't play WoW anymore, really, and I kind of abandoned it for the most part. Is just the insane number of, like, I mean, look at all the keybinds I have down here, and you could argue I could have even more down here too. I don't have engineering items down there or anything like that, or anything super fancy. So I mean, it's there's just so much shit on this bar here I have to keep track of. I literally try to pick passives here just so I can have, like, can I like prune my own abilities here? Just give me passive abilities, please, because I mean some of them are just so good you have to have, like, the active ability, but it's like, just give me passives when I can. I might actually switch this dismantle thing to like a passive or something. I don't think did they add any like new things here? I don't think so, really. Okay, well, we'll play around with that later. This is the new thing right here for this expansion, hero talents. So I think those are a little bit more straightforward from my understanding. I think you just like pick like one or the other or something like that, and you can just unlock the tree essentially. So hopefully that's not too complicated, because that's all we need to do is make this game even more complicated and new player unfriendly. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's start the expansion proper. Let's get over to Dalaran here. I set up my Hearthstone already, so you don't have to watch me fumbling around and everything, so. And even I think it's all like just so complicated and convoluted now. Like I can only imagine what Rorschach's going to say when he comes in. He's gonna be like, "What the hell is all this shit?" All right, let's get over to what's it called here. May as well sprint around. Is there something else over here I need to talk to? Let's see. Test kitchen results. Oh, that's like an old, like, Legion thing there, I think. Okay, whatever. We don't really have to worry about that. And... okay, do I even want to try to explain the story of this game? There's much better videos and stuff in streams that can explain that all. I recommend, if you want a recap of World of Warcraft's lore in general, the channel called Platinum WoW. He kind of makes it sort of entertaining to watch. But if you're not well versed in all of it at this point, I'm not really going to be able to explain it. But the gist of this expansion, or this trilogy of expansions, is going to be, for my understanding at least, is going to be focused around Azeroth herself, which is the Titan and / planet that we're on right now. That is, I guess, awakening or something like that, and how the Void Lords, which are the kind of the main antagonists of the World of Warcraft universe at this stage, are kind of trying to corrupt her or whatever. It's kind of the overall goal, and I think the villain for this particular expansion is Xal'atath, I want to say, which is a really random choice. Kind of like talk about it like a B tier type of villain. Xal'atath was actually I think it was introduced in Legion as like an artifact weapon, and it had like some funny lines of dialogue and stuff it would do. But now it's like, yeah, I guess it works with like, it's connected to the Void Lords, and it's kind of like a old god type of thing or whatever. So like I said, I don't even want to bother going through and explaining everything here. So let's talk to Moira.
You address the Queen Regent of the Dark Iron Clan.
Probably have some cutscenes coming up here.
We need you.
Dr. Magni. So credit where it's credit's due. We do have some kind of classic lore characters still around here after, this game's been going on for 20 years now. So we still have, Magni here, Thrall, Jaina Proudmoore, everything. So, I mean, there's some. And Anduin, I guess, counts, too. He was here since the beginning. He was a child, actually, when the game, starts and it's in the timeline. All right. Let's see.
When the world has Algar.
Okay, talk to Khadgar. Khadgar, of course, another big lore character that's been around forever, since Warcraft 2, I think.
Be in danger. We must convene the council once more.
All right, cutscene. Here we go.
Dalaran is called to the aid of our world. Magni?
Azeroth showed me a vision of a city in flames in the ancient lands of Kaz Algar. Her voice was desperate. We must act quickly.
Archmage Drendon has proposed, and the council agrees, that we bring the full force of Dalaran to this Kaz Algar. Make ready, our people, and prepare the city for teleportation. Whatever lies ahead.
Oh, hey, Rorschach. I'm showering while I watch.
Face it together.
Oh, they're teleporting Dalaran again. Was this like the 4th time they've done that?
We will defend Azeroth together. Remain vigilant. Be mindful of your duty.
I got no counsel for you. No advice.
Inquiring minds just got to know.
Oh, Brian's here. Check in and okay, sure.
Good to see you, champion. Watch your step. If Kaz Algar is under attack, we must prepare for the worst.
All right, let's get on our Griffin here. So this was actually, this is Christ. They could update the art direction after 20 years. Looks like morbid. They've actually updated it significantly since the 2004 release. It's been under a lot of changes. So this was the mount I got for doing the pre-expansion launch event, which is kind of neat. This is actually, speaking of graphics, this was actually the original graphic for the Griffins and everything in the game, and then they changed them to like an updated model. Okay, how do I... Okay, here's... How is it so far? I just got started, like 5 minutes ago. You haven't missed anything, really. It's modern retail WoW, though, so it's going to be pretty dull. I'll try to make it as interesting as possible.
The eternal sun guides us.
Okay, what does it want me to do?
State your business. Salama Ashalinore.
I gotta catch butterflies. Okay, so we got that taken care of. Looks like a lot of other early access people are starting already here too. So this is the early access, like 3 days early type of thing. The official launch, I think, is going to be on like the 26th or whatever. Let's see. Okay, I don't know where it wants me to go for that one. Okay, strengthen defenses. What's the concern of it being retail WoW? I actually wrote down extensive notes on the problems of retail WoW. I'll start sharing some of those as we go along. Or I can even make like a separate video about it. Like it's I literally have like paragraphs of notes here. I'll show it. That's how many problems there are with modern World of Warcraft. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see my phone here. But yeah. I wrote down paragraphs of it. So break it down for us casuals who haven't played since OG launch. Well, you didn't even really play in the OG launch, really. But I mean, like, well, you got like level 20, so you barely dipped your toe into it. You played a few hours at most. But anyways, I guess the simplest way to describe it is
May the stars guide you.
pretty much every facet of the game from launch until now has gotten worse. Every facet of it. You name it, it's gotten worse. The story, the lore, way worse. Way worse. it was interesting. It was a big part of the game back in the day. It was actually kind of a selling point of the game in a way. It's just a convoluted mess. It's a very you'll like this part of it. It's very very woke now, very very DEI influenced because of course it's modern Blizzard, the company that made this game is essentially no longer exists. That was over 20 years ago. So the story, the characters themselves are atrocious. The just the general gameplay experience. You might have missed that part where I was talking about like just the sheer amount of buttons and shit I have down here to keep track of. The game is becoming, even with, and this game was pruned. That was the crazy part of it. Last expansion, this game was kind of pruned a little bit. Or actually a couple expansions ago, it was pruned, and they tried to remove abilities, tried to readjust abilities and talent trees. It's just gotten more and more convoluted. It's very, very beginner unfriendly. So that's gotten just the actual game. Okay, what does he want me to do? Okay, there we go. Just the actual playing the game portion of it's gotten way way worse. The part I care most about in a online MMO experience, the player versus player PvP content, I would say has gotten much much worse since even going back to for me a lot of it was ruined just with the first expansion. There's been how many expansions now? Like 7 or 8 expansions now, and even with the first expansion they essentially ruined the world PvP experience. They added Arena, which Arena is fun. I really enjoy Arena, but I'm giving sort of the Cliff Notes version of my critique here. But I mean, pretty much every facet of it. It's very the game is extremely microtransaction heavy now. Although they've admittedly credit where credit's due, they've gotten a little bit better on that. But it's been very microtransaction heavy. You can essentially buy gold in the game now directly from Blizzard. So that was, there's been a lot of problems with that. The social experience, I should talk about that. I don't want to forget about the social experience. Okay, what is wrong? Sorry, it's hard for me to pay attention to these goofy little things and talk about at the same time. I got to become a better streamer. That's my problem. But yeah, the social experience, that was probably arguably, if you could pinpoint one issue that really just turned myself and a lot of people off to this game. When World of Warcraft first started, you had a real sense of it being a living kind of world. You would interact with people. Like everything in the game was built around interaction. Every part of it, questing, crafting, raids, player versus player content. Everything was built around interacting with other players, and you ran into other players constantly. There was a limited number of areas and zones to level, and even just the player knowledge portion of it. A lot of things back then you could. You had abilities to you could look up how to complete quests and stuff like that. But a lot of times people would just go in the general chat and say, "Hey, how do I do this quest? Where do I find this?" And people, it was a community. People would help each other out. And that would extend it to the PvP as well, too. It'd be like, oh, there's a bunch of Horde or Alliance over here, in this town, causing trouble. Anybody in the area that can help. There was a very social experience. And once you got to the end game, it was even more dramatic. You had raids, which are extremely social experiences. You had the player versus player city raids. You had the you didn't really have. You had battlegrounds. You didn't really have arena at the time, but you had battlegrounds. You had a lot of this social interaction, and you constantly had to communicate with other players. The game now, retail WoW now, is essentially a solo experience. As I'm leveling up here, I probably will not. It's highly probable I will not group at all with anybody, and no one will be interested in grouping with me. It's pretty much become a single player type of experience, and I think that's really sad. It takes away from what's the fun of this game. That's like I said, the social aspect of it. I would play this game for days and days on end with my cousin and my friends. They would all play this with me, and it was a fun. This is how we interacted with each other. This was it was our way of hanging out. We would hang out in the game together, and you can't really do that anymore. If you want to join, even if you want, like I mentioned, things like raids or doing a dungeon. If you want to do that, you can just go on here, find me random partners to tell. I'll find a Dungeon Finder will find me a group of 4 randos, or even for raids they'll find me people for that, or Mythic Dungeons will find me randos for that. And you'll go into those things and people won't even talk to each other. People won't even, there'll be no voice chat. No one will chat at all. They'll expect you just to do your job, and if you don't do it, then you're just kicked out of the party or whatever. It's there's no interaction whatsoever anymore. There's no friendships being forged in this game anymore. There's no sense of community in this at all. And they just did all this in the name of casualizing the game, because some people bitched. It was just like, oh, it's too hard for me to find a raid guild, or I mean, I'm not saying that there was things were 100% perfect with the old system, but it had a sense of soul to it. It felt like a community, and we just don't have that at all anymore. So if I had to pinpoint one issue, that would be it. That was like probably one of the worst changes they made. That didn't happen overnight. That happened over the course of several expansions, and it's just reached this nadir now where it's become like this is a solo game essentially. It's a single player experience more or less. I don't even know, like, it's not even, there's no point even having other people around. Almost I can just play on like a private server. So it's that's the sad part about it. I mean, there's other issues too. I'll get started with the actual quest here. I'm trying to think of like any other major things I didn't go over. I'll talk more about it. I mentioned a lot of nitpicky things. I don't like transmog armor. I already mentioned it being very woke now. Killing off old content. That was another big thing. It's unsafe to hear the gamer words. What gamer words? Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's maybe that was part of it too. You could say that it's a. I thought this Radiant Echo stuff was going to be gone. They must have it going for a little bit longer, I guess. Huh. Okay, but let's get into this. Let's get into this turd proper here.
It is a world of one.
It's even more amazing than I'd imagined. But my visions of fire and war. Something's wrong.
I need to find Khadgar.
I did have a
Trendon.
kind of solution, I thought, too. I'll talk about that maybe in a separate video or in a separate stream.
Trendon's been dead for years.
Oh, here's what's her name? Zalataf or whatever.
And you never once.
Or what's his name, whatever. Zalataf is like possessing. It's like a dead elf's body it's possessing. I don't know if it ever shows what Zalataf actually is supposed to look like by itself.
Perhaps this can keep you occupied.
Like I said, I've missed some expansions. I haven't really played actively since Legion. I dabbled in Battle for Azeroth. I dabbled in Shadowlands, which was awful. And then I completely skipped Dragonflight, which it sounds like I missed like absolutely nothing in Dragonflight though. Okay.
My
All right.
arrows strike true.
All right, Illyria, what do you want me to do? Send civilians to the landing for safety.
Dalaran will not be a fly in Zalakat's web.
I suppose I should poison up here right away. I say that because the destruction of social gaming is unique to WoW. Xbox 360 Relics is where you could report people to your own. Yeah, you're right. It's not just isolated to WoW. The difference with WoW though is that was a big part of the appeal. I mean, that was just. I mean, that's what people loved about the game, and we saw a mild resurgence of that when they had a couple years back. They put out World of Warcraft Classic, which was sort of a revival of, as the name implies, of the original kind of version of WoW with some minor changes to it, or some major in some cases. And I played for that, and I thought I had a blast of it. It felt, I mean, you can never. They say you can never go home again. It wasn't exactly the same as I remember it from like 2004, but it was a fun experience. I had a good time with it. My friends came back for it for a little while as well too, and we really enjoyed it. And then they decided to release expansions for it again, the same expansions they had before, and just like before, the magic kind of died, essentially. Okay, citizens saved. Okay, so I gotta save citizens and kill the Rubians. Okay. Alright, let's kill some Nerubians here. Oh, that one just respawned on me right away.
Too far away.
Kind of zoomed out a little bit there. These companies don't even want you shit-talking amongst your friends as well. I agree. Yeah, 100%. It's you know, it makes me feel old, but yeah, I mean, the internet was just such a different place back then. It was fun and wild and free, and a lot of that I experienced actually through this game, the original incarnation of this game. And it was a blast. And yeah, people said things that were very off the cuff, and you know, we had voice chat back then, of course, too, through like Ventrilo and things like that, and TeamSpeak. And you know, people just, you know, spoke their mind, and everyone was pretty happy with it for the most part. And you know, we just don't have that anymore. I mean, I mean, there's still obviously. I mean, I don't want to be too hyperbolic about it. I mean, there's people that play this game and still have fun, and they really like raiding and, you know, Mythic Plus dungeons and stuff like that. And you know, for those people, I'm happy for whatever, you know, enjoy the game. But you know, for me, I'm very much not a and this isn't exclusive to World of Warcraft. I'm in general, I like PvP. I think PvP, and I know that's unpopular. A lot of people don't like PvP, but PvP, the great thing about it is it offers infinite variety. A game of a good PvP system can never get old. You know, it's you know, like what's the example you would appreciate, Rorschach? Like Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead. Like if you're playing the versus mode in Left 4 Dead, you know, it's fun because, you know, you never know quite how the enemy team is going to react to what you do. And, you know, like when I played like Left 4 Dead, for example, I'm just picking that as an example because I know it's a game you like. You know, I would mostly play the versus mode. I did the campaign, like the main campaign and everything, you know, to get through all that. But the part where I actually had a lot of fun, the most fun, was the versus mode. Because I mean, because PvP is just like I said, it's just you know, you just don't know how. You know, it's just how. It's just a lot of, you know, that's just where it comes down to. Right, yeah. Alright, here. Sorry, I gotta take a quick break here. I'll be right back. Taking a break a little bit earlier than I thought, but I'll be right back here. Okay. Alright, got a little bit of emergency that came up here. I'm going to have to end the stream here. Alright, we'll have to pick this up sometime soon here. Let's see. I can't subscribe. Yeah, thanks Rorschach. Okay, what's going on here? Let's see. I can avoid dying for 2 seconds here. Alright, we'll have to pick this up some other time here. Alright, we will continue eventually here. I will have to update when we can. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody.